The secret to handling objections is not defending your packages, but understanding what it is that your client truly wants and needs. Today on this episode, we're going to talk about objections, and I want you to see them as opportunities, not obstacles. Stay with me because this is a game-changing approach to transforming your consultation process.
I'm feeling like a brand new me. For the very first time, I'm right where I'm meant to be. Brand new.
Welcome to Outsmart the Hustle, where we turn hard work into smart work, helping you focus on the high impact moves that drive your business forward without getting stuck in the grind. Let me take you back to a consultation I literally just had 30 minutes ago. So sometimes they are kind of stressful when you're like showing the price, right? And you're not sure if the bride or the groom is going to have an objection. As soon as you see the price, it's like a great fit. You absolutely love them. And then it comes to the price. And instantly, so let me like describe like what happened. I got my notes literally here from the call just now. They're getting married in Dallas, my local town, but they're coming from Ohio. They originally are from Dallas, but they moved to Ohio from work, and it's a destination basically for every single one of their friends. They're from all over the US. Some of them are in London, Italy, and France, and they're all coming to Dallas, Texas for their wedding this September. And what's interesting is that she knows exactly what she wants, and she was an open book. So she's like, it's going to be black tie, but we're casual and really chill people. We just want candid videography and everything. We don't even want the videographer to feel like they're there. And so coming from a high-end luxury background, I know like, okay, she'll want me to like dress like the guests. So I blend right in. And I'm the only thing that's different is that I'm holding a camera, you know? And so it's important to kind of like quell those anxieties or fears that she might have. And so leading up to the price drop, it really was pretty smooth because she knew exactly what she wanted. And she also hired some vendors that I am familiar with, which is also really cool. So what it came down to was that my package was actually too grand for her, and she wanted something a little bit more simplistic. And I was like, okay. So what I did know is that she wanted the rehearsal dinner coverage. And normally I would charge more for that. Well, actually, when I dropped the price and I was like, this package works best with your situation here. And she's like, okay, cool, cool. Well, she started to close the conversation. She's like, we want to talk to a few more other options, and thank you so much for your time and blah, blah, blah. And I could instantly tell something was wrong. I knew it probably had to be that the packaging wasn't exactly what she needed or what she was looking for. And sometimes people just don't even know that they can ask for some tweaks and some customizations. So I asked her, she was about to literally close the call. And I was like, hey, could I ask you just one last question? She's like, yeah, yeah. I was like, what is this package missing that keeps it from being the perfect package for your wedding? And what she told me was actually, it's not that it's missing anything. It just has too much stuff that I don't need. And that's actually the first time that I've ever heard that before. And it opened up my horizons just a little bit. Well, I was like, okay, so if I take away this, this, and this, and I add the rehearsal dinner coverage to it, is it going to be something that you want? And she was like, yes. And I'm like, is there anything else that I would need to keep you from booking us? That was another question I asked. And she goes like, well, no. And she's like, yeah, could you like send me this in two different payments? Because my mother-in-law is going to pay half of it and I'm going to pay the other half. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I can do that. And so all I had to really figure out was what is the real objection and just have a conversation around it. Because when you ask what your client's perfect package looks like, you are inviting them to be a part of the solution rather than positioning them as some sort of opponent. Like, we don't really want them to be comparing us to other people and leaving that conversation feeling like we weren't a good fit. And maybe you weren't going to be a good fit, and that's okay. But I knew from that call and the previous things we were talking to each other like about earlier, she was a really amazing bride and very like much not a bridezilla, has a wedding planner, she bought a band, like amazing photographer from Austin, Texas is going to be at this wedding. And I was like, okay, this would be, if anything, a really great portfolio piece, but she has a budget at the same time. And so I'm like, okay, how can I structure this and like maybe take some things away that don't serve her ideal view of what her film is supposed to look like. And never have I ever been told, wow, this is way too much. So it just positions you really as a trusted advisor. Remember that when we talked about story brand, you are the guide and your clients are the heroes. And so you just really want to show that you care about creating the right solution for them and not just making a sale. And if anything, I believe that's what I was able to show her on this call. So you really just want to be able to break it down like this. You got to start with like handling that objection calmly. And like, let's just talk about preventing them, right? So be really transparent about starting prices in your initial communication. Like I don't say like my packages are what they are and they're solid and I'm just a stick in the mud and won't customize them because genuinely high-end clients, luxury clients will not take very well to that. They're going to hightail away from you as fast as possible because you're not there to really solve their problems. You just want people to fit in your puzzle piece of what your ideal client looks like without really being flexible and providing value yourself, which, So, anyway, you got to educate your clients about your process and what makes it unique, but in what way it really relates to them and what they need. So, if me knowing that this specific bride wanted a candid, movie like approach, then I could be like, yeah, we're going to dress like your guests. We're going to just be at a distance. We're going to use some telephoto lenses to kind of like snipe and shoot. But you get to kind of live your whole wedding day without really knowing we're there, right? And that's exactly what she wanted. You could share the value behind each package component before they question it and then like ask, is this what you're looking for? Yes or no? Why or why not? Just really have them be a part of that conversation. So you definitely want to ask them like, would this be or would this make the perfect package for your day? Is there anything you feel like is missing that would better serve your needs? What aspects of the wedding coverage are like most important to you? And for her, it was the ceremony and the reception toast. So I was like, yeah, I'll build a custom package around exactly what you need, and then we will charge accordingly. So just really listen. This is just so crucial, guys. You have to listen because if you don't listen, you will not know how to reply to their objections. And they're really only objecting because what you have shown them isn't what they want or need. And so you got to show them what it is that they need, what they truly value, what their priorities are, what might be causing their hesitations. Like if you're not booking on calls, it's really because you're not communicating correctly. So just be very thoughtful when it comes to stuff like this. Where many people go wrong is that they start throwing on add-ons or discounting their prices when it's not even necessary, right? Like there was something that I said when she was like, well, I don't know about the social media teaser. I'm not really a social media girly. And I was like, well, that's fine. How about we sub that out for drone footage and stuff? I didn't realize because most of my brides before have been like, oh my gosh, yes, drone footage. We love it. Let's go ahead and do that. She was actually like, I don't really know if I want drone footage. I think this just feels like a lot. And I just want it to feel pretty down to earth and simple. And I was like, wow, something that normally is a solution for other brides wasn't a solution for this bride. And so subbing out an add on was not actually the solution here. But I listened, right? And I was like, oh, how about we take that out, do a rehearsal dinner instead? Because that's ended up what she wanted, right? You got to kind of sometimes restructure offers into a package that much better matches your client's priorities. And then you could even suggest removing less important elements to make room for what they value more, like I did with the rehearsal dinner. I took out the teaser, I took out the trailer, like all the things that were like more speedy edits, she didn't care for. She just wanted it to be captured, right? And so she still wanted it to look high end though and cinematic, which is why she's coming to me. So you got to present like these multiple options based on their feedback and just ask them, is this what you need? I'm here to provide a solution for you. Let me help you. So that's just kind of like one example. I have multiple, but I got off that call and I was like, oh my gosh, I got to record a podcast on this because it's just such a good example of really just being a solution minded videographer. So it's a really important question to ask at the end of your calls. If we could create your ideal package within your budget, or you could say literally their budget, if they say within $5,000 or within $6,000, what would be the non negotiable elements? And this question does two things. It acknowledges their budget constraints without making them feel judged. because you guys, we cannot judge people for their budgets. Like, I got married as a very poor bride myself, and I understand it. And it helps them prioritize what they truly value. Remember, the goal isn't to win an argument about your pricing or to justify why it costs so much, okay? They came to you for a reason. You need to find the sweet spot where your services and their needs align. And sometimes this means restructuring packages to better suit their priorities, breaking down the value of each component, and being flexible with package elements while maintaining your pricing integrity. In today's show notes, I'm including my objection handling questions that I mentioned in this podcast so that you can write it down and refer back to them in your consultations. Be sure to share this with a business owner who could use a little less grind and a lot more growth for their business, and I'll see you next Tuesday.
I'm feeling like a brand new me. Brand new, brand new. Feeling like a brand new me, brand new me. I'm feeling like a brand new me.
Outsmart the Hustle is produced by Memoir Mastery, a film business course, hosted by Hannah McGinty and edited by Manuel Mesa. Follow us at Memoir Mastery literally anywhere for more creative business tips.